Hello, my name is Miguel Morales, and today I will be presenting Chapter 10 of Harvest of Empire. Chapter 10 of Harvest of Empire is titled The Return of Juan Seguin, Latinos and the Remaking of American Politics. This chapter discusses the political emergence and activism of Latinos in the United States, focusing on Texas and the figure of Juan Seguin. This chapter highlights the historical and contemporary struggles of Latinos in American society, particularly in relation to their political participation and representation. One important person discussed in this chapter is Juan Seguin. He was born on October 27, 1806, died on August 27, 1890. He led the Battle of San Jacinto, helped establish Texas independence. Juan Seguin was a prominent figure in the Texas Revolution, fighting alongside other Tejanos for independence from Mexico. He served as a mayor, a senator, and a military leader during this period. His contributions to the formation of Texas as an independent state are significant and underscore the deep roots of Latino presence in the region. Seguin's story represents the resilience and determination of Latinos in the face of adversity. Despite facing discrimination and marginalization, Seguin remained committed to advocating for the rights and representation of his community. His legacy serves as a source of inspiration for subsequent generations of Latino activists and politicians. With his involvement in politics, both during the Texas Revolution and afterwards, demonstrates the capacity of Latinos to engage in the political process and affect change. His efforts to promote Latino interests in Texas highlight the importance of representation and advocacy within the political arena. His cultural heritage and identity as a Tejano leader resonate with many Latinos, serving as a symbol of cultural pride and heritage. His story illustrates the diverse contributions of Latinos to American history and challenges simplistic narratives of the nation's past. Overall, Juan Seguin's significance lies in his historical contributions, his role as a symbol of Latino empowerment, his leadership in politics, and his enduring cultural legacy. In Chapter 10 of Harvest of Empires, several important events that shape Latino culture and political involvement in the United States are discussed. The Texas Revolution, including the Battle of the Alamo, played a significant role in shaping Latino culture in the United States. Figures like Juan Seguin, who fought for Texas independence from Mexico, became emblematic of Latino contributions to American history. The Mexican American War and the subsequent Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo in 1848 resulted in the annexation of vast territories in the Southwest, including California, Arizona, New Mexico, and parts of Colorado, Nevada, and Utah into the United States. This event significantly impacted the population of the Latino in these regions and shaped their cultural identity within the broader American context. The civil rights movement of the 1960s had a profound impact on Latino culture and politics in the United States. Latino activists participated in the struggle for equal rights, leading to the emergence of organizations like the United Farm Workers or the UFW, under figures such as Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta. Their efforts brought attention to the issues of labor rights, social justice, and political empowerment within the Latino community. The Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965 abolished the national origins quota system, which had heavily favored immigration from Europe and opened up immigration opportunities for people from Latin America and other regions. This led to a significant influx of Latino immigrants to the United States and contributed to the demographic growth of the Latino population. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 was instrumental in expanding political participation among minority groups, including Latinos, by removing barriers to voting such as literacy tests and poll taxes. This legislation helped empower Latino voters and facilitated their increased engagement in the political process. These events, among others, have played crucial roles in shaping Latino culture, identity, and political involvement in the United States. Key terms for Chapter 10 are the integration period from 1950 to 1964. This period marks a time when Latino political engagement began to increase, with efforts focused on integrations into mainstream American society. Latinos advocated for civil rights and equal treatment, seeking to overcome discrimination and marginalization. The radical nationalist period from 1965 to 1974. Following the civil rights movement, there was a surge in radical activism among Latino communities. This period saw rise of nationalist organizations and movements advocating for cultural pride, self-determination, and political empowerment. Issues of identity, language, and representation became central to the discourse. The voting rights period, from 1975 to 1984. During this period, there was a concerted effort to secure voting rights for Latinos and other minority groups. Legal and political battles were fought to remove barriers to voting, such as literacy tests and poll taxes, and to ensure fair representation in electoral processes. The Rainbow Period, from 1985 to 1994. Coined in reference to the diversity of Latino communities, the Rainbow Period reflects a time of increased political participation and coalition building. Latinos joined forces with other minority groups, feminists, and progressives to advocate for social justice, economic equality, and civil rights. This period saw the emergence of prominent Latino leaders and the formation of influential advocacy organizations. The Third Force Period, from 1995 to the present time. This period represents a continuation of Latino political activism and engagement. Characterized by a diverse range of strategies and approaches, Latinos have asserted their influence through electoral politics, grassroots organizing, community mobilization, and transnational advocacy. Issues such as immigration reform, healthcare, education, and economic opportunity remain central to the political agenda. These key periods, outlined in Chapter 10, illustrate the complex and dynamic nature of Latino political involvement in the United States, reflecting shifts in strategies, ideologies, and priorities over time. Immigration policies is an ethical dilemma shown in Chapter 10, with examples being humanitarian concerns versus national security, and another being the treatment of undocumented immigrants. Humanitarian concerns versus national security. One of the central ethical dilemmas in immigration policy revolves around the tension between humanitarian concerns and national security imperatives. On one hand, there is moral obligation to provide refuge and protection to individuals fleeing persecution, violence, and extreme poverty in their home countries. Many immigrants, particularly those from Latin America, come to the United States seeking safety and opportunities for themselves and their families. On the other hand, policymakers must grapple with the responsibility to secure borders and enforce immigration laws to safeguard national security interests, control population flows, and prevent unauthorized entry. For the treatment of undocumented immigrants, the treatment of undocumented immigrants raises significant ethical questions regarding their rights, dignity, and due process. Policies such as detention and deportation of undocumented individuals, especially those with long-standing ties to their communities or family members who are U.S. citizens, present moral dilemmas about family separation, trauma, and the potential for harm. The chapter likely discusses the impacts of immigration enforcement tactics, including raids, checkpoints, and collaboration between federal immigration authorities and local law enforcement agencies on immigrant communities' trust, safety, and well-being. In Chapter 10 of Harvest of Empire, the emergence of Latino political power and activism is a prominent theme. This topic connects directly to the 21st century, where we continue to witness the growing influence of Latino voters and politicians in American politics. In the 21st century, the Latino population in the United States has continued to grow rapidly, making it one of the largest and fastest growing demographic groups in the country. With this demographic shift comes increased political power, as Latinos assert themselves through voting, advocacy, and running for office. Election impact. Latino voters have become increasingly influential in national and local elections, particularly in key battleground states like Florida, Texas, Arizona, and Nevada. Politicians from both major parties recognize the importance of appealing to Latino voters and often tailor their policies and rhetoric accordingly. Representation. The 21st century has seen a rise in the number of Latino politicians holding elected office at all levels of government, including Congress, state legislatures, and local governments. This increase in representation not only reflects the demographic changes occurring in the country, but also brings attention to issues important to Latino communities, such as immigration reform, healthcare access, and education equity.